What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Mr.Onesielive. So as y'all can see in the title, we're going to be talking about Amazon Prime's newest movie to hit the streaming service, Without Remorse, starring Michael B. Jordan. I was actually really excited to see this film because I'm a really huge fan of Michael B. Jordan. And with him starring in films such as Creed, Just Mercy, and Black Panther, I was really excited to see him take the realms in this military-esque type thriller suspense mystery drama film. So let's get right into it with my thoughts. Now, the movie as a whole, I thought was executed really well. I thought the casting, the pacing, the directing, the cinematography, as well as the choreography that came with doing the military-esque and guerrilla warfare type battles was actually really cool and really solid overall. I can't really say at all in this movie I was ever bored or not entertained by anything. And the script was really simple, clear, and concise, and actually had a little bit of twists and turns at the end that, in some ways, I really didn't expect to happen. I'm not 100% knowledgeable with the whole Tom Clancy storyline featuring Jack Ryan, but what I can safely say from seeing this film, that if any of the other arcs and parallels and storylines are anything like this, then I'm actually really amped to see where this film goes as far as possible sequels in the future. If there might be. But overall, if you are a big fan of the whole spy, covert ops, mystery drama, this is definitely a type of film for you. And Michael B. Jordan's performance really outshines everything. I can't even imagine the amount of prep work that went into this, with having to be knowledgeable and being comfortable with having to perform all these covert ops and spy maneuvers. It was actually really impressive. And I really think that it shows the dynamic and versatility that he has as an actor, as well as that he can hold another realm and another genre as a lead actor. So moving on to more specific details about the story. So a quick spoiler alert is at play here. Spoiler alert. So they start off in Syria, and the whole covert ops action, happens. They're coming out of the water, they're killing everybody. We're seeing pretty much the characters doing what they do. And in the whole process, they end up losing an operative, but also find out from this guy named Ritter that the whole plan was actually not been told exactly how it was briefed. John Kelly, who is Michael B. Jordan's character, felt like he was not briefed on the whole plan mission by Ritter, and he gets upset after the helicopter ride after their mission is a success, I would say, because they get the faulty information about the whole, what exactly they're looking for there, and end up finding that there are Russian operatives there, as well as military-grade weapons there as well. So in hindsight, I guess the mission was a success in their book, or at least Ritter's book, who is a CIA agent. So moving past that, going into the fact that John Kelly's family, his wife and daughter, gets killed, I thought it was really heart-wrenching. That scene was actually executed really well, and the whole fact that when John Kelly was shot, and he had to struggle to get to the bed, to get to his dead wife, and to see his family literally there in a pool of their own blood, it was really heart-wrenching, and I really felt for John Kelly. It was really, really so difficult to watch, but at the same time, it was very moving because that type of position is really hard to grasp, which I think was a great motivation for John Kelly to pursue exactly what he was doing. Now, with the execution of certain scenes when he was kind of making himself to appear drunk, and I didn't really understand that he was like pissing on his clothing and pouring wine, not wine, like vodka all over him to kind of have the exuberance that he was drunk. I thought that was a pretty cool tactic, something that I've never seen exactly executed before in like special ops or covert ops, but I guess when the mission calls for it per se, and you need to become a different character, I guess you might have to perform a tactic like that to appear that you were drunk. And it was very convincing because then he was able to get the information that he needed about his family's killer. So I thought all those things actually leading up to that was actually pretty solid. And the whole use of the spy covert optics and tactics was actually pretty usable throughout the whole movie. So execution-wise with the script, I thought it was pretty solid. If anything, I did feel like in some ways that it was a little bit predictable. I at least can kind of see a direction when you're trying to figure out who is a big baddie, and there's a big secret about the movie that normally the person that they're trying to push the hardest, it's meant to be that red herring, that whole misdirection. And I could tell from the character of Ritter that his character was such an asshole. I just figured that they were just pushing that not too hard, but they did it really well, that he didn't come off like really like an overt asshole like all the time. But he was just somebody who was serious about his job, and he was just, a dick at times, or most of the time, rather. But I felt with that character being established that perhaps it could not be him. And I had to figure that it was somebody else that was introduced. So because of those notions, I kind of suspected that it had to be somebody introduced, and so I thought it was the character of Thomas Clay, which was played by Guy Pearce. But I just couldn't figure out the why. And that's the twist that got me. When John Kelly finds his supposed killer of his family, He realizes from the guy wearing a whole bomb vest that he's actually willing to commit suicide for the sake of a mission or the sake of what society is expected of them or what the mission was expected of him. That he's supposed to die a patriot, so to speak. And in the end, they're all just pawns to push a certain narrative that the kind of government or the world wants to see happen. And Thomas Clay, Guy Pearce's character, pretty much wanted to push the narrative that a world needs an enemy. And that with two big developing powerful nations, the United States and the Soviet Union, going at it as they did in the Cold War, with tensions that big again, in his words, it would boost the economy. For war, I'm guessing that it'd probably be monetarily. Funding war gives a purpose for these troops to go to these different places, to group up with these forces, banding and bringing the American people together, bringing your own country people together, to band together, to unite together, to propagate together. That could potentially really boost and enrich the economy. So I get his motive. And it was actually a pretty simple motive, but it was definitely one I wasn't expecting. But I did actually expect him to probably be the bad guy, just didn't know how. So in the end, with that type of motive, I thought it was really simple enough, and I thought it was really believable. I don't think it was anything extraneous or anything just out of the ordinary in this film. I thought 100% of it was completely solid, and the storyline just was really concise and fluid and actually made sense in every single step of the way. So for me personally, I wasn't expecting this big old warfare battle and this big huge resolution. No, I was expecting him to find clarity, which John Kelly did, and now in that he's able to live the rest of his life as a ghost, of course. But that leads to the end credit scene, which I wasn't expecting in this type of film. But then again, I'm not really familiar with the whole universe of Tom Clancy, so that was pretty cool to see. And so when Ritter came up with the whole idea of forming this team called Rainbow, my mind instantly thought of Rainbow Six. So I thought that's definitely going to be something in the works as far as the future, as far as sequels go. Rainbow Six Siege, or however it is it going to be based off the games or just solely off the books? I don't know. This type of expansion with Michael B. Jordan, I think, is going to be great. So all in all, I really thought the movie was really good. I would definitely give it a solid B plus. And I give it a B plus because I kind of predicted a little bit of the story. But then again, it's still super enjoyable. And I'm actually really excited for Michael B. Jordan to continue his character. Well, his new character, no longer John Kelly, now John Clark. So thank you guys for tuning in to my review of Without Remorse. Please like and subscribe. And if you can, follow me on my social media links in the description below. This has been another Mr. Onesie Live production.